I'm fine.
Welcome to episode 26 of Talk Smart with.
PUGH.
I'm McCART. I'm Andrew McCART. That's Joe Pugh. Joe, I'm out in Saudi Arabia last night, so there's a lot of got here last night. There's a lot to talk about. Obviously, a huge fight card to end the year. But you were out in Sunderland this past weekend with Josh Kelly with his fantastic knockout win to end the year for him. But then obviously Sonny Edwards went out to Phoenix, Arizona. But we'll start on Sonny, I think. Went out to Phoenix, Arizona and took on probably a pound for pound right now in Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Yeah, let's just break down Sonny Edwards and Bam Rodriguez. What did you think of the fight itself, Joe?
Yeah, if he weren't a pound for pound star before that fight, I think it's fair to say that Jesse Bam Rodriguez is one now. Um, Going into the fight, we both discussed it. It's such a 50-50. And I think because of what happened with Sonny Edwards' eye, he was unable to perform the way only Sonny Edwards does. It made him fight the Bam Rodriguez fight. And from then on, it was an uphill struggle. But don't get me wrong, that uphill struggle was led by a vicious attack and just forthcoming pressure by Jesse Rodriguez. And he's just a phenomenal fighter.
Definitely. And to be fair to Sonny, man, we've seen this now. Now we've seen it. But I talk about this all the time, Joe. A fighter needs to go through adversity to see the type of character he has. And Sonny Edwards went through that adversity in the second round. And what was it? Got to the eighth round, I think it was. And you know what? He fought fire with fire. He fought the Bam Rodriguez fight. And that's something we've not seen Sonny Edwards do. We've seen Sonny Edwards dance around you, make you look silly for 12 rounds. The fact that we saw Sonny Edwards go in there and fight fire with fire showed that Sonny's not only a fantastic fighter off the back foot and he can dance around you, make you look silly for 10 rounds, but if he really needs to, he can dig deep and he can go to town. And that's what we saw with Sonny Edwards. And I think his stock's risen from this loss because he asked for this fight. He wanted this fight. He's not scared to take these fights. And I think that's what more fighters need to be like Sonny Edwards. Call for the fights, get the fights. You lose, who cares? At least you asked for them. You went in there. You stepped in with a pound for pound great right now, I think, in Jesse Bam Rodriguez. You might have lost, but as you can tell by the comments, a lot of people might have wanted to see Sonny's downfall for the way he acts on Twitter and whatnot. But I think when you've seen the reaction from Sonny, he took the loss like a champ. He took it on the chin. And a lot of people were saying good things about him because of the way he fought. He fought, he dug deep and fought with his heart. And that's what all you can ask from a fighter. That's obviously got damage to his eye in the second round. He's cut, he's losing the fight and whatnot. But at least he dug down deep. And that's what I like to see. And fair play to Sonny Edwards in that one.
Yeah, I think hats goes off to Sonny Edwards because the way he is a bit Marmite. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love him, but after he did take his first defeat, he could have kind of carry on talking shit, but he didn't. He was humble in victory, humble in defeat. He'll be back. Great little clip from Cole's interview with Eddie when he walked in and thanked him for the opportunity and thanked him for making such a big fight. But that fight wouldn't have been as big without Sonny, without his performances, without his antics online, without his profile building for the past 5 years. And he was a big part in that fight, and he's a big part in building it. So just well done to both men for putting on such a big fight and such a kind of near on crossover fight at those small weights, because that's once in a generation thing.
And I like Sonny's tagline, Joe. Real fights only. That's what boxing needs, because boxing's sort of maybe have lost its way a little bit. We're not seeing the fights. There's too many politics involved. There's too many middlemen. There's too many people wanting a piece of the pie. And I think that's what's stopping these big fights being made. Do you know what I mean? And I think that when you look at this year so far, and if you go from Sonny Edwards and Bam Rodriguez, it might not be the mega fight, but at least you're getting the number one, number two in the division fighting each other, right? That's what we want. We've already had Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia. We've already had, obviously, Spence and Crawford. Okay? We're that close to getting Wilder and Joshua. We're going to see what happens this Saturday night, and we're going to talk about it. And we've got Usyk versus Tyson Fury as well in February. So we're getting the fights, we're getting there. I just think that boxing needs more and more of this, right? It's okay getting to 20. I know if you fought 20 nobodies, that's what they, you know what I mean? That's fine. But we need to see you stepping up now. We need to see these young fighters fighting. A loss doesn't mean nothing. You look at the greats, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, do you know what I mean? Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Sonny Liston. They all lost. They all lost, but they gave us the great fights. That's when boxing was at this pinnacle, when nobody was scared to fight the top guys. And I think that's what boxing needs to get to. And we're climbing that ladder. We're not at the top of the ladder yet. Might be on the first couple of rungs on the ladder to get there, but we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, you talk about losses not defining you. I think I'm hoping, I'm praying that it doesn't define Pete McGraw, who suffered a devastating KO on that undercard. It was from nowhere. It was
That's boxing,
one
Joe.
of those freak blink and you miss it shots where you're fighting a punch perfect, it's a counter from the ropes. And wow, talk about knockout of the year, that could be one. But I'm sure Pete McGraw, with his talent, hopefully he's got everything with the mental, and he's got a few people behind him. But it's all good. It's all good. It's the antics of Saudi Arabia. Yeah, Pete McGraw will be back next year.
Definitely. But you were in Sunderland. Now talking about good
Yes.
knockouts and solid knockouts and getting a good knockout to end the year. Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly's one of them ones now where he wants the big fights, right? You want to see him in with the Conor Benns or the Chris Eubank Juniors and all these guys. But it's like, how does he get there? I mean, maybe this knockout has put him up there, but is he in that club where these guys that he wants to face, do they want to face Josh Kelly? Because he's got that style which is going to make you either look stupid. Do you know what I mean? And he's shown now that if he wants to turn that screw a little bit, he can hurt you as well. So where does Josh Kelly go in 2024? Where would you like to see him, Joe? You were there on Saturday night there in Sunderland. You spoke to him. You spoke to Carl Sauerland. What's the vibe? What's the vibe you're getting from them?
Well, I think he's number one with the WBO, which is Tim Tszyu. I think he's number four with the IBF. So if you want to go down the world title route, you're going that way. But Kalle Sauerland said he just wants the big domestic fights. And I kind of said to Adam Booth and Josh Kelly, look, it's easier to make an in-house fight than it isn't. So you've got to be putting the pressure on Chris Eubank Jr. Kalle Sauerland wants to make it. Josh Kelly definitely wants to make it. And we'll just see if Chris Eubank Jr. wants to make it, because he's been a little bit frustrated. I know wants that Janabek fight, but he might be going down the IBO route and the whole collapsing with the Conor Benn fight. So if those fights can't be made and they need a fight for Chris Eubank Jr. in the early parts of 2024, keep it in-house and have a massive fight there with Josh Kelly, because Josh Kelly was punch perfect on Saturday night with the cherry on top of the cake with that beautiful knockout. Kalle Sauerland seems to thought he knocked him off his feet. He was calling him Air Kelly after.
Gordon Kelly.
I don't know whether that was just the promoters talking. I thought that was brilliant. But yeah, Josh Kelly really cemented himself in that 154, 160 discussion. Florian Marku was ringside. I thought, to be honest, I think Florian looked at that and thought, wow, like that's a really, really hard fight. Not saying he wouldn't take it at all, but it weren't Florian's usual self where he was loud and in his face. I think he just had to sit back and congratulate Josh on a really good performance.
Definitely. And I like the Tim Tszyu fight. I think if he's number one with the WBO, they might call him mandatory. I don't know what the situation is with Tim Tszyu right now when the mandatory. I don't know if he's got that letter through yet or whatnot. But I think the Tim Tszyu fight, because Tim Tszyu is an exciting fighter. I really, really like Tim Tszyu. And Australian boxing, when you just look at Paro against Montana Love, I mean, you've got Ebony Bridges, obviously. You've got the Maloney brothers. You've got some spark as well. You've got some great fighters now. Joseph Parker's here in Saudi. How can I forget that? Pattaya Jaya Pattaya as well, who's I'm a massive fan of. I can't wait to interview him later on today. Fingers crossed. But like Australian boxing is booming right now, and when you've got Tim Tszyu, and if he gets to come over to the UK, right? Obviously, we know the American market. That's what all these fighters want to go to. They want to go to America and make a name for themselves out there, or have a fight in New York or Vegas, or get that big American fight. But I mean, the British market is not that bad. Do you know what I mean? I think the best boxing fans in the world are the British. Us, do you know what I mean? I think a nice little arena fight here in the UK, in London somewhere, against Josh Kelly, Tim Tszyu, to really push his name out there a little bit more to the boxing fans, the wider boxing fans. I think that's a no-brainer. I think Carlos Allen should be pushing for that fight for Josh Kelly to get that world title. The way Josh Kelly's fighting right now, the way he's boxing right now, I think that it's going to be a tough fight for him to beat Tim Tszyu, but I don't think it's a fight where he can't beat Tim Tszyu. I think he can if he stays focused, he stays switched on. I think the Troy Williamson win was fantastic. I think it was just a clinic. And that fight at the weekend there, he's shown that he can hurt you if he really, really wanted to. So I think the Tim Tszyu fight to me makes a little bit more sense. I don't think there's a hunger for the Chris Eubank Jr. fight against Josh Kelly. Do you know what I mean? I think the Tim Tszyu fight makes a little bit more sense for me, but that's just me maybe wanting Josh to push on for a world title and showcase what people were talking about when he came out the amateur scene, and this guy's the next thing, he's the Matrix and whatnot, and this, that, and the next thing. Obviously, the Avenetian loss maybe put him back a little bit, but now he's finding his feet again up at 154. So I'm going to sway towards Tim Tszyu. I would like him to fight Tim Tszyu. I think the world title for Josh Kelly, yeah, I think, and we all know Chris Eubank Jr. is going to be the money fight. He's going to earn probably a lot more, but I don't think there's a hunger or an appetite for it. And I think the Tim Tszyu fight makes a little bit more sense to me.
I think both of them will sell relatively well because let's be 100% honest now, he isn't at the commercial level at Chris Eubank Jr. yet. Josh Kelly, incredible fighter, but just one thing that struck me before we move on to the day of reckoning was how relaxed Josh was this week. I was backstage when he was doing his ring walk. He was just talking, enjoying it, soaking it all up this homecoming. And what a change from that Avanesian fight. Just so exciting. And after Saturday nights, just seeing him once again, just a reminder of what Josh Kelly's all about, speaking about him. I cannot wait for a big 2024 for him.
Yeah, me too. Well, let's just go straight to it then. I'm in Saudi Arabia right now, Joe. I'm waiting patiently. I've got young Charlotte over there waiting patiently with me. She's in the room with me. Coogan's gone somewhere. Maybe, I don't know. He's gone for a little wander somewhere. We've got the other boys in the next room there, the boxing social boys and whatnot. But listen, I've been asked, I got asked this question the other day then, and it threw me a little bit. So I'm going to ask you the question. Who's got the tougher fight? Joshua or Wilder?
Joshua.
I said that as well, to be fair. I think that maybe because Joshua's maybe got, I don't know, no, he's got nothing to prove, but there's still this talk about his mindset and has he got this? And I think, listen, Joshua's Joshua, and the way he was at the press conference, I think there's nothing wrong with his mindset right now. I think after the Hellenius win, I think he's got the bit between his teeth. He's got that Ben looks like he's got him punching because you just, again, I'm not seeing what's going on in that camp, but just the little bits off the punch cushion, the little clips we're seeing, you're seeing that he's sitting on the shots a little bit more. But that being said, Otto Wallen's had a great win against Gassiev, 9-10 weeks ago, out in Russia, went to the Lions Den. So fighting Joshua ain't going to phase Otto Wallen. He gave Tyson Fury a tough fight. Cut Tyson Fury bad, nasty little cut with a I think it was a backhand shot or looping backhand. So he gave Tyson Fury a run for his money, went the distance with Tyson Fury. So Otto Wallen knows how to dig deep, and get a win. And I done a Zoom interview with Wallen 3-4 weeks ago, and he's confident. But on the flip side of that, Joe, Parker, Wilder's had one round, less than a round in 2 years. Parker's had 3 fights this year alone. So there's that variable there. Do you know what I mean? And it's, again, I do think Otto Wallen's the toughest fight for Joshua's got the toughest fight, but it's not wide. You're talking that much. See a little gap between my fingers there? That's the difference I'm talking about there.
Yeah, that's certainly a balancing act between the two of them. When you look at what Otto Wallen brings, tall, rangy southpaw, Anthony Joshua's only fought 2 southpaws, I believe, in Charles Martin and Alexander Usyk. Didn't go long for Charles Martin and clearly struggled against Alexander Usyk. But some say, and I completely agree, that he had a better second fight. And maybe if he had a third fight, he would have even improved more. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Anthony Joshua fighting another southpaw. It's going to be really interesting. But then you go to the other side. You mentioned it yourself. A big spell of inactivity for Deontay Wilder. Just the Hellenius fight in the past 2 years. And Joseph Parker's been there, seen it, and done it. He's been a world champion. He's fought the best at all levels. But when you look at Joseph Parker and Joseph Parker's last big fight, he was there to be hit by Joe Joyce. But we
Mm,
do know if you hit too much by Wilder and if you hit flush, it could be good night.
definitely. And I think with Wilder as well, you might think that you're out of range, but he seems to close
Mm.
that distance with that. He flicks that jab out and he just lunges in with that right hand. So again, this is a 12-round fight, but Parker needs to stay switched on for 12 rounds, and it's hard to stay focused and switched on for 12 rounds when you've got somebody with that power that can generate that power. So it's an interesting fight, and I'm looking forward to it. Does inactivity play a factor for Deontay Wilder? He said to me in my interview with him in the Zoom call a couple of weeks ago that not with the training I'm doing. I'm getting great sparring. I'm training hard. And he said to me, basically asked me the question, who's the 3 guys did Parker fight this year? And I went, obviously, you got Sean Keane, you've got Jack Massey, and the guy I think he fought out in Australia, I think it was, I can't remember his name, do forgive me. But he said, are they going to benefit him? Does that elevate his career? Does that elevate him as a fighter? Is that going to do anything for him other than he's fit? Do you know what I mean? So he's saying that this doesn't matter. This does not matter. This long 2 years out the ring, what you want to call it, less than around in a 2 year, and the fact that Parker's had 3 fights in a year. He said that does not matter. What matters right now is when me and him step in the ring. So Deontay Wilder doesn't think it's a problem. Parker doesn't seem like it's a problem going on what he's saying in interviews. And it's just going to be an absolutely fantastic night on Saturday, Joe. And I just cannot wait. But you've got look at the undercard as well. Bivol, Lyndon Arthur, Dubois, Jarrell Miller, Big Baby Miller, Jai Apataya against Zorro. Do you know what I mean? You got the big monster himself and Makhmudov against Caballal, and Frank Sanchez, Filip Hrgovic. It's just an absolute heavyweight card. It's heavy. And I like that. And it's so hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to see some nasty knockouts. And that's why we tune in, right?
Yeah, when the lightest man on the whole card is probably going to come in at 175, which is Dimitri Bivol, you know, it's a heavy-handed card, and it's going to be starting early. It's going to be an absolute slog, but I can't wait for it. And I just think Dubois Miller, I think it has so many subplots, adds so much narrative to this already plot-driven show, and I absolutely can't wait for it. And yeah, I can't call it.
Nah, me neither. And I think Jarrell Miller might be the talk of this week with his antics. I think that the way he comes into a fight week and the way he approaches weigh-ins and press conferences, and then he doesn't care. He would unload a clip on everybody in the press conference, man. He doesn't care. Dimitri Bivol was the lightest man on the card. He'll probably go after Dimitri Bivol. He'll probably say some shit about him as well. He doesn't care. And again, that's why we tune in. And some of us like it, some of us don't. But I like it. I like it. It makes a big fight feel big when you've got all these characters and there's back and forth between fighters, and it's going to be an interesting week, and I'm looking forward to it. And it kickstarts in about 5 minutes, Joe. So I'm really looking forward to it.
5 minutes, just enough time. Get some coffee, set up your camera, and get going, mate.
Coffee
Have a
machine
good
right there.
time.
See that? Look,
Saudi Arabian coffee.
lovely. I've already had 2 coffees today already, Joe. So I'm ready to rock, ready to
I thought
kick
you
some
was a bit
ass.
more. Thought you was a bit more lively than your usual self, mate. So there you go. Needed the coffee.
I've been to the gym as well, Joe. I've been to the gym as well. Don't worry about that. See, always got to get my gym in.
I wish
So
I could say the same, mate, but I'd be lying.
now, listen, I've got to motivate you, young man. Next, if we do a fight week together, you'll be like Colm's done a circuit with me, and Colm lasted 18 minutes, I think, on a circuit with me in the gym in Dublin. So if we're ever on a fight week, Joe, be prepared. Bring your running trainers, bring your gym kit. We're going to do a quick on the minute every minute. If you don't know what that is, be surprised when I meet you at a fight week because you'll be doing it and see how long you last. If you can last longer than Colm McGuigan, then fair play to you. If you can't, then you're not the top dog in IFL. Still me.
Well, I'm pretty confident I'll beat Colm, but not you. That's
This could be a little in-house competition. That's what we're going to do. But listen, I've got to get my button gear. I've got to get this ready to rock and roll, Joe. But listen, I'll see you. Won't see you Sunday because I'll be traveling. I might see you Sunday morning. Maybe nah, I won't. So we'll probably have to do this Boxing Day. We'll do it on Boxing Day if you've got time. If you're not with the family or whatnot, we'll do another one. We'll have a recap of this because obviously Christmas is coming in, getting in the way. But yeah, until then, enjoy the coverage. Make sure you tune into IFL all week. for all the videos, interviews from everybody here in Saudi Arabia. And Joe, listen, if I don't speak to you before Christmas, you already know, mate. Enjoy and have a good one with your family.
Have a good Christmas, mate. I'll see you soon.
Definitely, brother. Cheers, Joe.
I'm fine.